My humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Lord. Respected elders, dear brothers and sisters. I would like to, before I start talking about Laos, I will just digress a bit, and I would just like to say what Dr. Sitharam mentioned. I feel so proud when I walk into the headquarters of our United Nations building in Nairobi. When I see in the corridors, there's this big signage of one of the model projects they talk about is the Sri Sathya Sai water project of Anantapur. It fills me with immense pride. And also to add on to it, there is a very interesting program in our United Nations system on water education, which we call the human values. There's water, sanitation, hygiene education. And this human values-based water, sanitation, hygiene education talks about, guess what, 5 values: love, truth, peace, non-violence, and right conduct. This is all Swami's values. So it gives us an immense pleasure that Swami's teaching is so universal and so widely accepted. And in this vein, I would just like to continue now to the Lao presentation. I have been asked by Uncle Ravi to show some of the slides of the zonal presentation to start with. Then I will go to the transformation part. Of course, one of the 10 commandments is always listen thy boss. So as he commanded, so I'm just going to go very quickly through it. Lao PDR, LAO stands for Land of Action and Opportunity. So it talks about the potential part of it. And then the PDR stands for people do not rush. So that's the blissful part of it. So we were sort of lazing around in this bliss. So Uncle Ravi said that better to make them work and do this zonal project. So in came Uncle Vashi and also brothers from Malaysia. We are really grateful for brothers from Singapore and Malaysia to come in and start designing this project. You will see that, as I mentioned, even to reach to these remote villages is itself a huge journey. The worst track of the roads, which is absolutely very difficult to pass through, to cross through. It is just swimming over mud. But I was so thrilled that Uncle Vashi, while we were sort of swimming on this mud, and on the side there's the deep precipice, Uncle Vashi is merrily singing, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. I cannot repeat that sort of a tune because only he can do it. We had a lot of community consultations, and as you see the team leader, Uncle Vashi, talking with the communities there, and after a lot of consultations, we identified water sanitation, health-related interventions, and income generation activities are the key priorities that we need to cater to. This project is very unique because the Sai organization is at the center, and revolving around the Sai organization are a number of important stakeholders: the government, the communities, the different development partners, and other local partners. This is very, very important because now it is the time for Sai organizations to take the lead. So even international organizations like United Nations will work sometimes under the guidance of the Sai organization. We have divided this program into 3 implementation phases. So the phase 1 will look after the issues of water supply and sanitation and will conduct different health service related activities. The phase 2 will start working on income generation activities, and then the third phase will be the sort of a spiritual growth where we will bring in the values-based component. We plan to benefit more than 1,500 people in these 3 remote villages, and over 70% of our targeted communities are women and children. We are just embarked in this project, as I mentioned, we envisaged that it will be a multi-year program catering to one of the demonstrated needs of the government, which is also explicitly laid out in the National Socio-Economic Development Plan. We have already conducted a Reiki mission, and we expect our first seva to be conducted in March. So if you have a health insurance and if you're properly insured, please do join this seva. And the other beauty of this seva is that, of course, the $25,000 is not a small amount, it's a huge amount. But what we want to do by doing this targeted investment, we want to leverage a lot of other complementary investments from other organizations. As I mentioned, some of the key features of this Saver project, and we want to make a model village improvement project, is that we want to align with government priorities so that our activity is not lost somewhere. Our activity becomes a key, sort of a best example that the government can share with other partners and can sort of influence other people to follow the way the Sai organization is working. It is also helping the poorest of the poor to have access to basic services, health facilities, and income generation. We are also not working in isolation. We are working in partnership. We are leading a process. We are facilitating a process. And also, as I mentioned, the whole aim is to develop and establish and implement and maintain a Sai model of village improvement program. That concludes my first part of the program, presentation. Now, to talk about the transformation process, Laos is a WIP, a work in progress. So I cannot talk about that we have come to a sort of a conclusive phase or we have transformed a lot. It's an ongoing struggle. But I would like to share with you one of our Saver program. Our organization was established, the Sathya Sai Foundation in Laos was established in 2002. And the first activity we started was education in human values, and we used to have Sunday classes. Since 2005, we decided that we will change the modality a bit. So we started daily EHV classes at 2 centers. And we have 8 classrooms, and we have 250 students every day coming and joining this program. So our structure is, we have prayers, we have values-based, and also we conduct English classes, we have songs and stories, we also have prayers and songs, and you see the number of students who are attending these daily classes. This is after school hours. And of course, we have to sort of be imaginative where we conduct these classes. So sometimes it's under a garage or in a room, but it talks about the indomitable spirit of the teachers and the sacrifice of both the teachers and the students. Children who are participating comes from most of the disadvantaged background. When we first started in 2005 this daily class, one of our first students, so the first day started with 2 students, and one of them is just sitting here, one of the youth, who is no longer that tiny little 20 kilos. Now, I understand he weighs about 75 kilos. This is important because he's in a drama and he has to be lifted today. So, this is a wonderful experience that we have gone through, how the children has grown over the time. Even we have Buddhist monks coming in and joining these classes. Our children and the youth who participate range from 6 years to well over 20 years, some even attend universities. What I find is that it's very impactful because this EHV program has essentially enabled the Sai organization to grow and flourish in Laos. All our spiritual, our service, our youth, our women's wing activity has actually branched out from our EHV program. Laos is a very small country. A very small Sai foundation we have there. But we have about 18 participants who are here sitting today. And out of the 18 participants, most of them are youth, Laotian youth. And all of them have come through this EHV program. And the beauty of this is that these EHV program has helped us to mobilize our youth who have become dedicated, selfless volunteers. They go for seva in the blind school. Yesterday, Sister Sai was talking about pedicure, manicure services that we provide to the children over there. And also, even for flood victims, seva for flood victims, it is the youth who are taking the lead. We only watch from a distance. And the government has also recently decorated Sathya Sai Foundation with a certificate of appreciation and honor for the service provided, because we were the first organization to be there. And it's all done by the youth. We also conduct the medical camps. It is again led by the youth who have passed through this Sathya Sai Education in Human Values program. Now comes to the part, the concluding part. We are building a Sri Sathya Sai school in Laos. So this is the school building under construction. If I knew earlier, we could have borrowed one of the buildings from Nepal, because they have so many of them. And perhaps Uncle Junsai could have helped us to transport it, because he's such a great scientist. Anyway, we have started building the school, and we hope you will all visit us in Laos. Thank you, Khop Chala Lai.